every once in a while, I'll go through. Every once in a while, I will go through the chat, and what I'll do is I'll go through the comments rather, and listen, man, I get haters in the comments. It is what it is. But every once in a while, you actually see one that is just so pretentious and so crazy, like you just can't ignore it. Freddie H 20 hours ago says, first time watcher. I will hang around to see if I want to subscribe. But I've seen a good bit from Kevin. While what he says is pretty much what most men have been saying for decades, where I think he really came off wrong was how he talked to black women. What he says applies to all women. So when he says modern women, he means the larger part of the feminist movement that has taken dating into their own hands and have seen their matches dwindle very quickly based on their choices and decisions. Let's not continue to push a narrative about this behavior being specific to black women. Let's take this from the top here. He says, I will hang around to see if I want to subscribe. Freddie, don't flatter yourself, my friend. Don't flatter yourself, my friend. Fuck off, go fuck yourself. Listen, man, I appreciate each and every one of my subscribers. I really, really do. You guys have changed my life as much as I have changed yours. But for this self-important, self-righteous first-time watcher to sit here and say, well, I will hang around to see if I want to subscribe. Let me save you the trouble, Freddie. Don't subscribe. Don't subscribe. My content is not for people like you. It's just not. See, Freddie H is the guy who says, well, this applies to all women. Actually, it kind of does. But Freddie, here's where the quote narrative argument, here's where it comes back to bite black women in their oversized collective asses. Black women are at the bottom of the sexual food chain. That's right, they're at the bottom of the sexual food chain. In other words, most people don't prefer black women. This is nothing personal. This is just how it is. You go to any dating site data, and that is as data from dating sites is as pure and as true as any survey. People lie on surveys, they lie on questionnaires, they're dishonest when they're given certain questions. Guess what? Dating apps don't. People are not swiping right on people they do not want to get with. And woman for woman, men swipe right on black women far less than they do any other race. Those are the facts. Secondly, to say that this doesn't just apply to black women, this applies to all women. Yeah, listen, it does apply to all women. It absolutely does. The problem is that the feminist movement has negatively affected black women more than any other race of woman. Yes, feminism has rendered today's modern women absolutely useless on the dating market. But white girls are still getting married at a 54% clip. That's nothing to write home about, but it's a lot better than black women getting married at a 25% clip. That's right. That's right. 3 out of every 4 black women walking around in America is not going to be married. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? This tells you that black women are the most educated demographic of group in America. They're the most educated. So why are most of them single? Why is it that 3 out of 4 of them will never get married? Why are 77% of black people born out of wedlock? Well, it's because the black community is matriarchy. It is run by black women. This is why the black community is a shit show. So when somebody like Freddie H comes in here and tries to sort of say, well, listen, I'll hang around to see if I want to subscribe, sort of subliminally saying, listen, if you stop talking about black women in such a way that doesn't hold that holds them accountable, then I'll subscribe. Nope, fuck you, Freddie. Don't want your subscribership. Anybody who listen, and Freddie is entitled to his opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But what's wrong with the black community is exactly what Kevin Samuels talked about yesterday. The black community is allergic to the truth. Anytime anybody points out the truth about the black community, about the reason why most black women are not in relationships of consequence or married, we want to say that that's a narrative. Let's not continue to push this narrative specific to black women. Yeah, you know what? That's not a narrative. That's the truth. Black women are they're the least preferred, they're the worst behaved, and they're the most overweight. Misbehaved, overweight, masculine people, masculine women, they don't get wifed up. They don't get wifed up. And when you put all of the problems, of the black community in terms of dating, the reason why most people don't prefer black women now is because, dude, 80% of them, 75 to 80% of them are overweight. They got an attitude problem, and they're educated. They think they belong. They're the heads of the household. So to call that a narrative, that is disingenuous at best, irresponsible at worst, and this is why the black community is in shambles. So somebody go in there and send Freddie H the timestamp of this particular response to him. Don't want his subscribership. I'll hang around to see if I want to subscribe. Dude, don't flatter yourself. Don't flatter yourself. You're not that important. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Let's take a look at some of the comments. Let's take a look at some of the comments. I caught a lot of heat for my debate with Guste. Couldn't give less of a fuck. If I had it to do again, I would do it all over again exactly the same way. Now, give me a second. Now, one guy did make a very good point. Okay, so Larry Legend speaks. Now, this is a genuine comment, and I understand what his concern is, and I'll address his concern. He says, "I love your videos, and you're great at breaking down videos, but you let her slide on a lot of points that made absolutely no sense and left a lot of her points unquestioned. For example, when she said emotional coercion is rape, I would have loved to hear you ask her, what is it when a man doesn't want to pay for a new purse or whatever. First of all, Larry, I appreciate the comment, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I did challenge her on that, okay? And Larry, I would suggest that you go back and watch the whole. If you didn't watch the whole thing, then go back and watch the whole thing. I challenged her on the coercion thing. Just because I didn't challenge it in the way you wanted me to challenge it doesn't mean I didn't challenge it. I said no. And I told her, I challenged her. I said, listen, if a man tries to coerce or quote unquote manipulate you into having sex, and this is what she was talking about, if her boyfriend says, I have blue balls, and she has sex with him, that's her choice. That's not EPAR. She called that coercion and manipulation. No, like, you have a choice. You can leave and not have sex with your boyfriend. I told her, if you chose to have sex with your boyfriend because of what he said, that's not manipulation. That's a choice you made. So that's how I challenged her on that. Now, the first thing you said, I let a lot of what she said slide. Okay, on points that made absolutely zero sense. You're absolutely right, and I did this on purpose, and I did this for two reasons. Number one, I wanted this to be a discussion. I didn't want this to be a battle. Guste said so many things that were just out of this world, outlandish. It simply wasn't worth pointing each and every one of them out. It just wasn't, because then we would have gotten caught in the weeds. One time we actually almost got lost in the weeds, where she says, well, look, you're not really a men's rights activist. I don't hear you talking about male suicide. I don't hear you talking about male mental health. And I've told her, well, I do talk about these things at times. Really, what videos do you have? Right? And she used the typical, I'm asking you to tell me and you're not telling me. So in other words, she says, tell me what videos there are, and I'm not telling her, so she takes that to mean, well, I don't have them. No, I told her, sweetheart, go do the research. If you're going to make the assertion that I don't talk about certain things, then you need to go and do your research. I'm not going to do the research for you. Well, you should just tell me. No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. If you're going to make an assertion about me, you need to go do the research. So that's how we almost got lost in the weeds, and that had nothing to do with the conversation, right? But that's the first reason why I let her slide on all of those points. The second reason why I let her slide on a lot of different points is because this is what Kevin Samuels does. When these women call into Kevin Samuels' show, they say all sorts of outlandish stuff. Kevin doesn't challenge them on each and every point because he understands some points. some fallacies that women talk or spew, it's just not worth even challenging. That's just how it is. When you are in a discussion or a debate with a woman and you challenge her on everything you think is wrong, guys, things are going to get lost in the weeds. We're going to get lost in the weeds. We're going to muddy the water. And now all of a sudden, we're not even talking. We went from talking about false EPAR accusations to whether or not I advocate for male mental health. Just on one thing. Just on one thing. So I let her slide on these things on purpose. I'm not gonna, whoa, wait a minute. Let's go back and challenge what you said about this, that, and the third. Guys, what you have to understand is this. I knew I wasn't going to change her mind, and I knew she wasn't going to change my mind. What I sought out to do, my goal was to show you how the other side thinks. Guste, Janice, this is what men are up against. Okay? Women like her think that, coercion is EPAR. That's dangerous. I called her and I checked her on that. I said, listen, man, if my girlfriend Devin, if I want to have sex, Devin's never denied me sex. I said this on the debate. I said, Devin's never ever denied me sex. There are times where she's not in the mood for sex, but she gives it to me anyway. That's not rape. That's her duty. And then she goes in, then duty sex. No, duty sex is not rape. Duty sex is not and never will be rape. Sometimes women don't want to have sex with their men, but they do anyway. That's not rape. That's just called doing their duty. When a man and a woman get together, there's an unspoken agreement that I provide you with the life befitting a woman. You provide me with exclusive access to your body. This means giving me sex whenever I want. That's not rape. That's called an agreement. For her to characterize that as EPAR, that was disingenuous. That I called her out on. So yes, I let a lot of things slide, and I'll let a lot of things slide again. For the third reason, the bonus reason, is I want to have her on again, guys. I want to have her on again. Listen. You guys can say whatever you want about Guste, okay? We all know that we disagree. Guste and I disagree fundamentally on a lot of different things. There is no doubt about it. But guess what, guys? Guste gets numbers, okay? Guste gets numbers. I had more people watching that. I had more people watching yesterday's episode than I had people watching the Kevin Samuels breakdown. That's not a small thing. And I plan on bringing her on many times in the future. And listen, if that gives her a few more subscribers, I don't care. But the reason I am bringing her on is the same reason why Kevin Samuels brings women on. It's to show you guys that what we have been teaching you is absolutely true. You guys have heard it one-sided long enough. But to bring women onto our platforms, and now you are seeing this literal manifestation of the womanist movement, that's even more educational. There are only so many 16 signs she's a slut, 5 ways you can trust. I mean, there's only so many of those you can do. The reason why Kevin Samuels, and not to compare Kevin and Myron Gaines, right, because they're two different entities, but the reason why those guys blew up and are super successful is because they allowed women to be on their platform and allowed opposing viewpoints. Guess what? I would be stupid not to take advantage of that. Now, the reason I've waited till now to start doing it is because I didn't really think I had the requisite control to actually debate with someone until a couple weeks ago. I had the debate with Jen. I managed to keep my cool, and voila. In the end, guys, you have to evolve. You have to evolve. You can't do the same thing over and over and over and continue to grow. Dude, Kevin and I, we have conversations about this all the time. He's making some serious moves behind the scenes. I can't say anything about it, but trust me when I tell you, you're going to know it when he does it. Well, guess what? I have to do what other successful people are doing. And if I want women and people with opposing viewpoints to come onto my platform, guess what? I can't be shouting them down. A lot of you guys in the comments wanted me to, oh yeah, or you're about to cook this broad and da 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 da. At first, that's what I wanted to do, but I saw an opportunity. So you know what? I could cook this girl. I really could. I could cook her 6 ways from Sunday. But you got to look at the big picture, okay? I don't do what I do to get instant validation from the comments. There are content creators that I know very, very closely. The reason why they do what they do is because they like that instant gratification that comes from the comment section. Yeah, get her, roast her, blah, 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 blah. That's not me. That's not me. No, I'm looking at the big picture. And if we want our message to possibly go mainstream, if it already hasn't, then guess what? We need to invite people and women who are diametrically opposed to our views onto our platforms. And listen, I'm not Myron Gaines. I'm not Frank Castle, okay? I'm not Kevin Samuels. I'm neither of those guys. I'm Donovan Sharp. I got to do things the way that work for me. Kevin Samuels has bitches lined up to get on his Zoom calls every night. Myron Gaines he's got a line all across Miami of girls. He can't wait to get into the studio to get that clout. I don't have that luxury yet. So guess what? I have to be a little more civil to my guests. And even if I did have a line all the way around the block, I still want to be civil to my guests because I want them to want to come back. Guste and I could not be more different. I am literally twice her age. We are diametrically opposed on everything. Dude, we probably even don't even drink the same kind of water. But Guste gets numbers, number one, and number two, this is showing you guys what the other side thinks. So for those of you guys who want me to cook her and roast her and blah, 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 listen, man, you're going to be disappointed. That is not what I'm going to do. So listen, man, if you guys, I'm going to unsubscribe because and then one guy has called himself Bruce Smith, says that, he's trying to smash Guste. Really, idiot? Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, Guste is a walking false EPAR accusation, and I'm trying to bang her? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Bruce Smith, unsubscribe from my account. Get the fuck out of here. Dumbass. No, Bruce Smith is one of those black pill guys who wants me to just cook and roast and da-da-da-da-da. No, man, Times have changed. You can't be cooking and roasting women who are on your platform. No, you have to treat them with courtesy. If you want people to come onto your platform, you have to have a good precedent. Kevin Ray Wilder came on. We had a disagreement. Guess what? I reached out to Coach Whitepill. He said, no problem. You want to know something? If I sat there and cussed out Kevin Ray Wilder for an hour and a half, do you think Coach Whitepill would have come on? Do you think Coach Whitepill will be coming on next Thursday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific? No. So as far as these debates are concerned, guys, listen, these debates are meant to educate and inform, not entertain. And if you want to be entertained, go over to NiggaTube. All kinds of entertainment there. No. My goal is to educate first, and if I can be entertaining, great. But I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to educate you. So if you want me to be cooking these bitches and cooking these white knights and this and that, no, that's not what I'm going to do. That's not what I'm going to do. When I have people onto my platform, it's going to be a civil discussion. It's going to be a civil discussion because this community gets a bad rap as it is. They all think that we're these angry neckbeards who live in our mother's basements. They have no respect for us. So when they actually come over here and talk to some dudes with some sense, they're like, you know what? I disagree with that community, but hey, I kind of understand what they mean. I guess they're not the complete total losers. People come to buy, people from the outside come to the Donovan Sharp channel. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. This guy travels. This guy is doing well financially. He's in a stable long-term relationship. Maybe what he talks about actually works. And that's how you grow your business and brand. Yes, this is a business. No, I'm not going to apologize for trying to make money on purpose. So for any of you out there who want to be entertained by this kind of stuff, I hate to break it to you, but that's not my intent. Now, will some of these debates be entertaining? Sure. Of course. Guste, listen, the Kevin Ray Wilder, the Guste interview, those are both very entertaining. But I'm not going to purposely disrespect my guests or cook them just so I can get a little bit of validation in the chat section. No, that's not what I'm doing. Content creators who do that, they have dying channels, and y'all know who the fuck you are.